This marks the final episode of the 4-part docuseries, The Artistry of Kehinde Okusanya, a metaphor for musical conviviality. Through an account by Mr. Kehinde Okusanya himself, as well as those of his colleagues, family members, and proteges or mentees, we have traced his journey from childhood, how he began playing the piano, went on to study music in the UK, and later returned to Nigeria to work at the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN. While he worked at the FRCN, he composed music for radio and television programs from the 1960s until the 1990s when he retired. And he also directed the choir of the NBC and later FRCN choir. His career was marked by a consistent pushing of boundaries through the bringing together of diverse musical traditions in ways that can be described as a conviviality of musical idioms. A notable example of this is how he used indigenous and popular songs as quodlibet-style descants on hymn tunes during his time as the music director of the NBC. And he continued this practice when he led the choir of St. John's Church, Aroloya. His career also reflected several humane dimensions, such as his inclusion of female voices in what had previously been an all-male choir at Aroloya. And by the time he retired from St. John's Aroloya in 2012, he had mentored several individuals, many of whom have since become music directors in various settings within and beyond Nigeria. So in this final episode, I turn to focus on his legacy, beginning with the substructure that held everything in his career together, and that is his family. If you have heard that he donated his salary from St. John's Aroloya back to the church, this episode will explain how he was able to achieve that comfortably. From there, I will also spotlight some of his mentees who speak about how Mr. Okusanya's life and leadership style influenced them and the legacy they continue to uphold today.
All glory belongs to God. All glory belongs to nobody but God. Our God has been very kind, because I won't deceive you. If I didn't meet my wife, I'd be a wretched man by now. My parents' house is at number 10, Lawanson Street. And just across the road, my wife was living across the same street. She was living there, and her twin sister. I was on the balcony one day. I can remember vividly the dress she was wearing. It was like Kishi Damasco, Bria and Cranny, but anyway, Odironi. So I don't know whether it was only Predit that pushed that to that house or put me on the balcony that day. I just saw her across. And instead of going right or left, she just crossed to our house to buy something there. And something just told me, I don't know whether to attribute it to Holy Spirit or what, that this is the wife for me. By the time I asked her out, they are moved from that place to Ekolulu Close. It was then I dated her. I asked her for dinner, to come out with me for dinner. I had no car. So I went. She agreed, reluctantly. Then I went to the house to take her for dinner. On time. I think it was after I got there, she went to take a bath. It was most annoying. We had dinner, and after that, she won't leave me alone. But to cut the jokes out of that, I'm very grateful to God, because number one, I led a reckless life. And she is very enterprising, hardworking, because all we have been able to acquire today is by the grace of God and herself.
So I was working with the Center for Management Development in Nlopeju. I was the secretary. Then after, I think it was immediately I had my fourth child, Tokwe, that I was sacked. My boss said, "Oh, you didn't take permission. We didn't see you in the office." But definitely I did, because I went from the office to the hospital to have the baby. You know, it was like an emergency. It wasn't him that did it. Definitely it must be from God, because that was the beginning of the business. I never thought I would ever go into business. It never occurred to me. The landlady then, our late Mrs. Mama Diaga, saw my husband and said, how is your wife? Said, she has been terminated. And the mama said, oh, ask her to see me. So I went to see Mama, and Mama just gave me a check for 3,000 naira and said, àwọn ẹgbẹ́ they are traveling, one travel, one launch a business, ìwọ náà máa lọ travel. That time, money was a lot, 3,000 naira. It was like giving somebody maybe, I don't know how many million now. With that 3,000 naira, that was what developed to the Tradesco Nigeria Limited. After some time, I told him, I said, it is better for you to resign. Let's do this thing together. That was his early retirement at FRCN. Because then I used to travel a lot to source for all these goods to bring back to Nigeria.
This man is a fantastic, phenomenal, gigantic. I mean, use any words to qualify this great figure in music. So Mr. Kehinde Okusanya is such a lovable man, such an intelligent man. I mean, use any good qualities to describe a man. He's a family man.
I mean, at home, he was just, dad. A lot of the things that I noticed that, some of the people that I know saw in him was a little different from the way we saw him at home, or me at least, because he didn't bring a lot of the music part of his life to the house. So growing up, I can tell you that for a long time, we didn't even have a piano at home, right? We had, I know at some point, my mom bought me like a toy piano, which I had for a long time before eventually we got a piano at home, and then we would see him play. But before then, it was mostly when we go to church and, Aroloya, you see him perform. And also he used to have this annual musical festival, like I can't even remember what it's called, that we used to go to. But that's when we used to see him perform and see what he does. But at home, he was just dad, like any other dad.
He was very passionate about music, but at the same time, he was just as playful and full of laughter. He was always there to help us with homework, take care of us, and really split time with my mom in making sure that the family was provided for.
My mom used to travel a lot when we were kids, sometimes for weeks at a time. And when I think about it now, like it used to feel like months, but it was probably just a few weeks. And my dad used to take care of us. And so you could see that, like he would, wake us up in the morning, make us breakfast, take us to school. And then, if he couldn't pick us up from school, he would have people from his work pick us up. And so now that I have two kids, I really appreciate that, because I could not imagine what it was like having 5 children, because I cannot even imagine. I mean, having 2 kids, as I do now, is a handful.
definitely a fun-loving man, and he played with us a lot. We spent a lot of time just having fun together as a family. You know, he taught us the importance of joy, hard work, and humor. Just that unwavering work ethic is something that I would carry with me every day. Working alongside my parents just gave me a whole new perspective on them. I saw firsthand how much care and determination they put into building their business, especially after my dad retired from his music career and joined my mom full time. It was inspiring to see them work together as a team. Every single member of the family played a part at some point, and I'm proud to have contributed to that chapter of our lives. Looking back, I just really realized how much those experiences shaped me, whether it was just watching my parents pour their heart into their work or just working side by side, or my brothers, you know, really taking full charge and helping grow the business. Those moments, both big and small, they just are what I have carried with me up till today.
Okay, so even though I don't play the piano, I do teach my son piano, right? Because he's still learning the basics, so that's easy enough for me to teach him. When he started like 2 years ago, you know, he would say things like, "Oh, it's too hard. I don't want to do it. Like it's too difficult." And then I would remind him of, you know, like when he started reading, or when he started doing like simple math, and how he would complain about how difficult it was. And then eventually he'll get it. And then I would always remind him about that and say, hey, you know what? It's hard now because this is the first time. But the more you practice, eventually it's going to get easier, and then you'll get it. And the reason why I mentioned that is, you know, growing up, I always heard my dad talk about, you know, when he was in England, when he was in college in England, how he would spend like hours and hours and hours playing, you know, the same pieces every day on the piano, you know, practicing over and over and over and over again just to perfect your skills, you know, because it's not, I mean, people talk about, you know, like talent, you know, musical gift and things like that. But, you know, talent without the work, or without, you know, the practice, the hard work, it's not going to get you anywhere. You still have to put in, you know, the work, the effort. And, you know, I, you know, try to teach that to my kids. And of course, that is one of the things that I got from my dad as well.
If you see me do anything crazy in music, as in being very unconventional. If you see me being disciplined, maybe I could trace that discipline to him.
His legacies are diverse. One, I would say effective choir management. I remember Mr. Okusanya, at the time I was becoming a professional musician, he would leave the choir direction to us, in a sense that he would itemize in order of priority the items to be done for the day. And he would tell us how to tackle it, how to go from one section to the other, how to battle a difficult section from bars 1 to 4, master it, isolate a section that needs mastering.
So many music directors or choir masters came out of that tradition. And I think that for me, that's the greatest legacy, that you are able to clone yourself, so to say, to build people who are like yourself, people who can also take that message, take that same discipline, take that tradition to other places. I think that's like you also pointed out, my own style of leadership in the church also to a large extent, it's like his, to a very large extent. And sometimes, sometimes my mom, when she gets to hear that I am having some disagreements with some priest, my mom will say that you are doing like your gaoka. I mean, there will be some things that I just feel no, this is not going to happen. At least not under my leadership. Okay, and these are things we learned over the years. These are things, if things are not happening the way they should, if things are wrong, Mr. Kehinde Okusanya will not keep quiet, and some of us also find it very difficult to. It's like something is burning. It's like there is a fire in you. The things are going wrong, and you're quiet. You just don't feel okay. You don't feel comfortable. So, and I think that's the greatest legacy, that he's been able to build people who can also serve sacrificially.
I can remember then, even after practice, after choir practice, it would take us to go have pepper soup. It paid. I mean, what else?
While I was going through a challenging situation, he called me to his office over tea and biscuits, just normal chatting. And he was asking me about what I was going through. And he shared his own personal struggles he had gone through and his experience with me. And that was a breaking point in my life. That was a breakthrough. That was a breakthrough in my life, because he now taught me perseverance and knowing that if great men like this could go through such a situation in their lives, then I can be a better person.
Some of his teaching, his guidance, is the inspiration that he brought to the choir back then really and truly shaped my life today. Today I'm a college professor, I'm a research scientist. I have, been able to make contribution, to my field of study as a professional and all that. It all has to do with all the kind of upbringing, and the opportunity to be under the mentorship of a person like him.
So there is that connection, that relationship, if that fatherly to son relationship with all the choir members.
His own contributions were silent. He was a silent giver. He doesn't announce it on the rooftops.
We loved him because he was a good person to us. On several occasions, he would come with words of naira notes, and he would give you this amount, give this person. In fact, sometimes people would alert others. Oka has given us, then others would come. And you just pass by like you don't know what's happening, but of course you've got the information that the Oka cake is being shared. So you're just coming around to get your own share. So he was that kind of person. He was a very generous person.
He would single-handedly pay school fees of several members of the choir.
So whenever we came home for on holiday, he would be asking you, when are you going back? And then he would plan. So whenever you're going back, you can be sure that you'll get something. He'll give you something. He was that kind of person. He was a very generous and very caring person.
If you're familiar with St. John's Church, Aroloya, the area is not like the best of neighborhood in Lagos Island. Nonetheless, Mr. Okusanya actually visited, the how will I describe the place where I live, which was not like the best in that area, But he never really put anybody down, and he encouraged us. I remember to the time that I had finished at my undergraduate studies, and I was thinking of pursuing a master's program, and then I approached him. I told him that I needed some money. He lent me the money. He gave me the money.
He created a rapport between the choir boys, choir men, and everybody. He never thought of himself as a teacher and a student relationship. He took us as his friends. Although the discipline was there, and everything, but he took us as his friends. His anecdotes were something to look out for. You wanted to be around him. You wanted to always learn from him. You wanted to always share experiences from him.
He's my biggest influence in music. He's done a lot of colossal contribution to me that it's indelible. I mean, how will I talk about music in my life without mentioning Kehinde Okusanya? It's not possible. He's got that stronghold on me. A very disciplined man. A very disciplined man. If he tells you 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
After trying to schedule in-person meetings with Mr. Okusanya for about 2 years without success, since we were in different countries and he frequently traveled between Nigeria and the United States, I finally visited his residence in July 2024 to conduct interviews with him for this documentary. During that visit, he recounted an experience from 2020, which, had it not been miraculously resolved, would have made these interviews impossible.
I just woke up one morning. My grandchildren were calling me to take them to school. I didn't answer. I didn't know what was happening. My daughter came. No, she was already at work. She telephoned the children. They told her that looked like I wanted to sleep more. And to saw the same thing from Daddy. Then my daughter had to send for Uber that took them to school. She was in New York. The dad came home, took me to the hospital. And they called my doctor and said, from what I'm hearing, this man has stroke. My wife was in California. And between California and Maryland is 6 hours flight. She came over immediately. And by the grace of God, when I was there, I thank God that she was there, that the thing happened in Maryland. They took scan. They saw that I was bleeding from here, my brain, the back of the brain. The question was that, did I fall? I didn't fall. He said the thing was receding and dried up. Do you know that I was in the hospital for 6 weeks? For all that number of weeks, I didn't know what was happening. My son, Notayo, came from California, and I was asking my wife, I said, what happened? Is somewhere too busy that he couldn't come to see me? He said he came, that we were on the same bed in the same room in Maryland there for 3 days before he went back to his work. But physically by me, recover. My wife who was with me, like I'm looking at her now. Then I was not physically seeing her. I knew she was there. So I am grateful to God. I'm always grateful to God. Because at the end of it all, do you know that after I was discharged, it was when we got home that I discovered that you've seen that I went downstairs and straight across to the room. If I'm going to the room there, if I get off from say I'm going to the room, I will get off from here, I go to that place, I go to another place. I didn't know where the room was. When physiotherapists came and they said, take me to your room, instead of taking them there was a door I will go to. I opened the door. I discovered that it's garage. And I told him that they have turned the place to garage. Because every time I opened the door, it's cars as I saw. Even the grandchildren that I was taking to school, Emiji, twice, they brought them to the hospital to see me. I did not know. They need Mambri. I was asking them, Mambri, okay, did you come? They said twice, both of you. What did I say? They said they just knew that I was ill. They knew what was happening. My speech was not affected. None of my limbs are affected. I'm perfectly okay. It's only God. It's only God. When I tell people that I have stroke, they don't believe. Body dancing, there's no question of Mama was a conlay, a bikini. No. Not happening. It's only God. God is wonderful. I can walk, I can move, I can run, and I'm 82.
Truly, if Pa Okusanya had not shared the story of his stroke, I would never have known. He was able to recall fine details from his childhood during our interviews, and this was after that experience. And for this, I am also deeply grateful to God.
I'm very grateful, that I encountered him. But to me, he's a friend, he's a father, and he's a leader.
I'm grateful that our paths crossed. I'm grateful that he's still alive, even though I haven't seen him for close to about 15 years now. He's a very lovely man. This man is a maestro. I mean, he's an icon. I mean, this man is a legend.
He is indeed a legend, having raised many proteges who continue his legacy. His work, philosophy, and general outlook on life will continue to reverberate for generations to come.